to study about nature of management under management theory and practice. So definition of management given by this is that it is an integral part of every organization which aims at creating and maintaining the culture and environment so that the employees can work towards the completion of the organization goals and objectives. Okay, so we have multiple viewpoints for the management, and the first viewpoint is the traditional viewpoint, which says that tackling people in such a way that the work that is assigned to you should be complete. So the only intention behind the traditional viewpoint was to get the work done. That's it. Next we have modern viewpoint. So as we have studied previously, we have multiple scientific management, so all that sort of principle. So based on overall functionalities end to end that we have in, like, from the beginning to end, manufacturing, getting the product to the customer, so all this is divided into this 5 functions known as planning, organizing, directing, staffing and controlling. We'll study about this in detail later on. So for now we'll go to the next viewpoint, which is 7M viewpoint. So in previous chapter we have studied 5M viewpoint, where we had men, machine, material, money, methods. So for these 5 points, if you want detailed explanation, you can go to the previous video in the same playlist. But the 2 new points that are added is the market and motive. So market means the product that belongs to your organization. You are going to study its demand, its supply, or what is the competition. Okay, how is the market in any specific country, how the rules and regulations support it. So all the factors with respect to the product in the market. Okay, next we have motive. So here we try to find the target audience and for whom to sell, and if we are selling different strata of the society, people of society, then at what price. So all those things will come under the motives. Next we have 4P's viewpoint. So here we have productivity, people, profit, public relation, all P's. Okay, so first is the productivity ratio. So this ratio says divide your output by input so that you can find your efficiency. Next we have people. So in this we focus on customer, shareholders, stakeholders, okay, suppliers, all those will come under the stakeholders. So that is considered under the people. Then we have profit, which is a self-explanatory. Then we have public relation, like as of now we are seeing in current scenario, TikTok, because of 1 or 2 videos, it is getting what we can say, its image is getting damaged in the public, because of which the organization reputation is damaged. So that was our public relationship. So this is not some this is mainly focused on how the organization is maintaining its relation with public. But if some video is published and that is not taken in a positive way by the public, which okay, so if it is not taken in a positive or any expected manner, then again it is a responsibility of an organization whether they should have published that in first place or they should have rejected it. So that's why it is affecting the organization image. Next we have nature and purpose of management. So if we see the first we will study nature, then we go for the purpose. But the nature of management is having the 6 factors. So first is management is goal oriented and purposive. So this says that management is all about thinking about future based on the current and previous scenarios. So it might be the trends or something new that has to be produced. So everything that has to be that will be done based on the decision is for the future. Next is management is universal, that is it does not, it is not specific to any organization or any level or any geography, though the content might differ, but the overall objective, behavior, decision making, everything will remain same. The principles, the foundation of management, everything will remain same. Next is management is continuous. You took some decisions and that is going to implement, but that doesn't mean that your management is done. So it will be a lifelong functionality. Next we have management is a group activity. So of course management is not something which is done on an individual by an individual. Okay, it is done for the group by the group. Next we have management is tangible. So it cannot be touched, but it can be felt. Okay, some decision is taken, it is affecting the environment in which you are working, so that will be felt, but that cannot be seen. Okay, next we have management is persuasive. So it is like God, it is available everywhere in all sizes, areas and level and types of organization. Next, so these were the nature of management. Next we have purpose of management. So why the management is done actually. So what is the use of the decision that management is taking? So it is to achieve the goals and objectives, utilization of resources, so that was the production factors in the 4 P's. Next we have cost minimization, survival and growth, so this is the survival of the fittest, we can say, the maximization factor. Then we have development of nation, so this we can say the social obligation or CSR activities that an organization is expected to do or organization is willing to do. Okay, next we have management as science and management as art. So why we call it management as a science? Okay, because science is completely based on some principle, facts and figures, right? So similarly, those behavior we can see in the management as well. So everything is based on some logic or something, nothing is assumed. Okay, but if we can see in science, if you take a molecule and second molecule, and if you mix those molecules, you know what could be the result, because it is done already. So it's like if something has happened already, again the same thing will happen, provided all the factors are same. So that is what science. But management, even though everything, like if you recreate the scenario, you cannot expect the output to be the same. So management is a science, but it is not a natural science, it is a social science. Why? Because it is dependent on the behavior of the management or of the stakeholders, customers, employees. It is dependent on the behavior or the types of organizations. So we cannot expect the same output if the environment or the inputs are same. Okay, so that's why management is called as a social science but not as a natural science. So then we have 4 reasons for calling it that. One is a systematic decision making. So as I said, decision making is done by a human. Okay, so his behavioral thing, the group which is part of making a decision, whether it is centralized, decentralized, irrespective of that, whoever is taking decisions. So the human behavior, human psychology, so that which is a dynamic thing will affect the decision making. So that's why it is not a science, it is a behavior science. Then we have output may vary provided the inputs may be the same. So the exact output cannot be expected provided the inputs are same. Then the process of management and the principle of management is same, but the content will be different. Content in the sense, if it's a production company, it will be different. If it is a servicing company, it will be different. But overall, the foundations, the principles, the decision making thing, the flow of control, so all that process will be same. So because of these reasons, we call it as a behavioral science. Then why do we call it as a management as an art? Because an art requires certain factors, certain skill set by the person who is doing that. So the same skill set is required by the people who are in the management or taking decisions for the organizations. Okay, so which are for fulfilling the objectives of the organization. So those factors are nothing but being innovative, creative, individual approach, application and dedication. So here we can say their knowledge towards all the projects, okay, their delegation methods, their psychology, behavior, okay, and what all things is required for an art. He should be having a certain vision for the things that they are doing, so result oriented, initiative, okay, expecting all the creative things or innovating things that other people are doing in the organization, integrating sales in relation to goals, resources, techniques, results. So everything that is required for a person to be called as an artist, the same skill set is required for the management. So that's why we call management as an art. So these 3 people were the reason behind calling management as an art in the first place. Okay, next we have functions of management. So as we can see, the end-to-end process is categorized. Here we are not categorizing in terms of any specific department, but in general. So overall we have 7 steps, but as of now, as per our portion, we are covering only 5. That is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. So coordination, reporting and budgeting, that is 3 more things that we are not covering as of now. So planning is forecasting for the future, which is the basic principle behind management. And then we have organizing. So as we have studied the Kaizen 5S, so in that we can see we have a principle which says everything should be sorted. So all those things which is required for a manager or subordinate for his occupation or his work is easily accessible. So for that thing we have organizing. Then staffing means hiring a proper person for the proper place at the right time. That is staffing to fulfill some skill set. Then we have directing, so giving direction by the expert or higher officials to achieve a goals and objective. Then we have controlling, so this is like actual output compared with that of desired output. So based on this, what is there that need to be controlled or corrected, or what is the changes that need to be brought in the process. So all those things will be coming under control. So these were 5 functions of management. Next we have role of management in the society. Okay, so role of management in terms of society is if a manager is there, his role is not only to complete the project or to manage his subordinates, and similarly the employee's role is not only to complete the tasks that managers are giving. So they have, apart from these things, they have something responsibility towards the society as well, so that they need to fulfill. So what are those and how do they fulfill, that we are going to study as of now. So one is the organization's responsibility towards the society. So how do they fulfill that? They do that by paying taxes, conserving resources, biological environment, dealing fairly with suppliers, like no biasing is done, proper value of the product is done, no mixing of the product, so proper quality, proper quantity, proper fulfillment of demand. So all these things are done. But apart from that, they have some social responsibilities for business, interest groups, shareholders, customers, employees, community, government, and stakeholders. So for all this, we have one more topic stating whether the organization is doing on will or under the pressure, or its nature is like that. So why organization has to do this, but why the organization is doing that, we'll study in the next topic. But as of now, these were some of the responsibilities of the organization towards the society. Okay, so now organization commonly follow 3 principles to meet the social responsibilities. Okay, so first is the social obligation approach. So here we can see the organization is doing some good things for the society, not because they wanted to do, okay, but it is because the rules and regulation of that country or of that state says that if you are having this much profit, or you are having this much percentage of turnover, you should spend this much amount of money under the CSR activity, so that is for the society. Okay, so that's how they are obligated towards helping the society because of the rules and regulations. So if because of those rules and regulation, if the organization is trying to help the society, that we call as social obligation. But social responsible approach, so here how the organization thinks or behaves is, they see that they have to help the society, and at the same on the same hand, they need to make sure that because they are doing this something for the society, they should be also benefited. They want to have multiple things done with the same arrow, so they try to help the society and get their image built for okay, so here they are helping the society, getting their image built, and with that image they are going to have that sales raised, they are going to have multiple stuff done because of their good image. So here it is also helping the society. At the same point, they are also getting benefits from the society because they help the society. Okay, then we have social responsive approach. So here the organization is not coming under the pressure of anyone, or because of rules, or because of their selfish activities, or something they are expecting from the society. Not because of all this, but because they have the intention of helping, they go into the society and help. So they under this principle, we can say we have NGOs. Okay, we have people like Ratan Tata who come out of the rules and regulation and help the society. So that is social responsive approach. So works actively to deal with social needs and problems. So that was the 3 principles that organization uses, like one of those 3 principles organization uses to meet the social responsibility. Next we have management and administration. So we have multiple authors. Okay, some people treat management and administration as a different thing, some people treat them as the same, some people treat them as a part of each other. So those are the 3 categories that we come across, how the concept of management and administration are being treated. So we are going to cover these 3 points. So first is administration is a part of management. So you are seeing management is said to be the higher level, in that one part is administration. So as per Kimball, Richmond and Copen, what this is that administration is something that is going to implement the decisions that is taken by the management. So administration is only the implementing agency, and therefore it is only a part of management. So here it is a part. Okay, next we have administration is a different from management. So here both administration and management are treated differently. So administration is higher level activity, while management is lower level function. Lower level function means operation level functions where the execution happens. So administration involves making crucial policies, therefore superior, and once some decision is taken, administration is done with its activities. Next comes management thing, so which is responsible for execution of these things. So because once administration task is done and then management task will start, there some authors are treating these two as different entities. Then we call then the third thing is administration and management are synonymous. So you see, first is a part, second is different, the third is both are synonymous. So authors like Newman, Coons, Henry, all these people, they said that there is no difference between administration and management. Okay, do not differentiate between. So here is a table, you can see overall how we differentiate administration and management. So nature, administration thinks, and management executes the type of work. So administration determines, again management implements. So administration is the top level, management is the middle and lower level. Administration does the planning, controlling thing, and the execution thing includes directing and organizing part of the management. So which, okay, so these two, directing and organization, comes under management. Next we have management as a profession. So for calling something as a profession, what are the things we require? Like there will be a place which provides a person with a skill set and knowledge, and there will be a place where a person can go and show his skill set, and certain policies, certain procedures, okay, rules, guidelines, steps, functionality. So there will be a certain set of entities that is needed to be learned before executing any functionality of a management. So it is kind of imitating any other profession that is existing so far. So because of all those factors with which we call something as a profession, and those factors are present for management, we call management as a profession. So first is existence of a body of specialized knowledge and techniques, and then is formalized method of acquiring those trainings. Okay, so here we have something to be learned, and we have a method or medium to learn them, and then we have establishment of a representative professional association. So there is some institutions and all available for us to go and acquire those knowledge, and then we have ethical codes of conduct to be learned and getting familiar to those things before entering into this profession. Then we have due regards for priority of service over the desire for monetary reward. So it's like prioritizing the organization, which can be considered as one of the ethical code of conduct. So because of these reasons with which we call something as a profession, and those are present for the management as well, we call management as a profession. So that was our last topic. And yes, so with respect to any query regarding nature of management, you can write down in the comment section. So that's it. Thank you.